2026.
Very beautiful.
Introduction.
Yes.
This law was adopted in 1958 under the UN, and it come to enforce in 1966 to regulate fishing beyond national judiciary. And then to balance, yes, jurisdiction, sir, and balance fishing freedom with conservation. Background: technological advance in increase overfishing rates. Freedom of high sea lead to deflation. This law was influenced by UNLOS 1982. Objective of the law: preventing overfishing, promoting international cooperation, ensure sustainable use, and balance economy and conservation. Mandate: this law adopt conservation measure, use of scientific evidence, cooperate among states, and then peaceful dispute settlement. All this law, this is the mandate of that. Conservation measures to regulation of methods, seasonal and geographic limits, catching limit and specific protection. So these are the measures that needed from the conservation measure. Fishery and public health. This we know that fish is a high protein nutrient. It has high protein nutrient which needed for human consumption. Fish provide protein and nutrient, support food security. Overfishing threat to nutrition. All of us know when we fish, we do overfishing, it will cause that. Promoting of the public health. Long-term food available. So that law make us to have what? Food availability of food. Supporting livelihood for those that are into fishing practice, and then reduce food insecurity. The evaluation now: weak enforcement, voluntary appliance, limited scientific data. Because with that, law come on board so that we have accurate data and we make sure we. But it comes that we don't have that data. Challenges: continue overfishing. Those are the challenging: continue overfishing, poor monitoring, no binding penalty. No penalty given. Impact: influencing UNLOS 1982. Advanced sustainable fishery principle, and then link environment and health. In conclusion of that, foundation of fishery governance, support of food security, and protect what? Future generation.
Please mute your mic. Mute your mic. If you are not talking, mute your mic. Please mute your mic.
I'm speaking again on the Water Resources Act 2024.
Okay.
2004. Introduction. Water is the fundamental life and public health. All of us will know water is the fundamental of life, even in the public health. If there's no water, I believe no one will live in this earth. To save and adequate water prevent waterborne disease. The Water Resources Act is Nigeria's main federal water law. This law is a law mainly in Nigeria. Overview of the Act: to regulate use, control, protection, management of water resources. 2. Apply to interstate, international, and federally controlled waters. Mandate of the Act: all of us know that this mandate of this law is the ownership of it is the federal government. So the ownership and control of water resources, regulation of water use, protection and conservation, development and allocation, international and interstate management. All of us, we know that this law is controlled by what? By the federal government. And as I said earlier, ownership and control. The vast surface and the ground surface is controlled by the federal government, ensuring coordinated and equitable management. Regulation of water use. This regulation require for the large scale abstraction and to control what dams, borehole, industry, and commercial use. All this law control all those because it's a federal government law. Protection and conservation. Prevent pollution of water body. Protect.
So you haven't really started from Lagos yet. I'm still expecting.
I know what I went through when I was listening to the first press button.
We can't hear you, please. We can't hear
Yunusa,
you.
unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Yunusa, we can't hear you.
Overall assessment: moderation impact on public health, strong legal base, but weak implementation. Conclusion and recommendation: update the Act, strengthen enforcement, improve intergovernmental collaboration, increase public awareness. Thank you for listening.
Not just in this.
Thank you very much. Do we have any? What is all this now? What is all this?
I want to say that going forward with the next presentation.
Please let us unmute our mic.
Thank you for listening, sir.
Thank you, Musa. So, is there any question for him? Otherwise, okay, let the next person present. Next person, sir. Please. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Stop sharing and let the next person.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to present.
Yes.
Let me try and share my screen. There's some call Simeon.
Yeah.
Excuse me, please. Let Yunusa unmute his
Yeah.
mic. Let him unmute his mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Please unmute.
Please let him
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
No. I've not seen it.
Okay.
I've not seen it. You have to share. Share. Open the document, then press the share button. When you open the document, click on it, then press the share button. It will come up. So if you are here, we are going to minimize the slide. Then you go to your document, open it, come and press share. If you press share, you go back to the document and press it as it appears on the screen. Then it will show. Have you done that? Hello?
Maybe while he's another person can go ahead. And Frida is ready too, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Anybody with
Hello,
yes.
good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Dinago. Is the name correct?
Please, can everybody?
Is your name correct?
Yes.
Dinago.
Denongu.
De what?
Denongu.
Okay, Denongu.
Denongu.
Okay, that means you should not join people a bit. Haba. Okay, that is true.
Not join
bad people.
Don't join bad people.
But it's not the bad is not there. They didn't write bad there. They just say hello.
Yes, sir. It's true. Yes,
okay,
I can hear you. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
So that is my question.
Yes.
So this is my introduction.
Okay. You have to read it now. You have to present now. You have to present. Okay, this is the outline.
So
okay.
The outline. I'm starting with introduction, mandate and performance of conservation on Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species of Wild Animals, CMS. The law was enacted in 1979. I will go ahead to also discuss the mandate and the performance of the national law that is called the Endangered Species that controlled the international trade and traffic. The act was found in Chapter 9 of the Environmental Law of the Federation of Nigeria in 2004. I will also go and discuss the mandate and the performance of the National Environmental species in international trade, and I will put my conclusion. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're working on my number. That is my number.
Okay.
That number. Endangered species control.
Okay, sir. No, endangered species control is number 27. So I was giving 27 on that. Go and check back. So that is my introduction. My introduction. Environmental protection laws and convention plays a crucial role in safeguarding biodiversity and promoting public health. The Convention on the Conservation of Protected Species of Bird Animals, which is known as CMF, seek the protection of migratory species, protection of the migratory species, who depends on among countries they converse. At the national level, the Endangered Species Act, Chapter 9, Environmental Law of Nigeria, provide legal mechanism for the conservation and control of trade in endangered fauna and flora. Complementing this framework, the National Environmental Protection of Endangered Species in 2011 strengthened enforcement and compliance with international standards, such as CITES.
Emmanuel Sambe, please mute your mic. Mute your mic.
Collectively, ensure ecosystem stability and promote public health and sustainable development. So I will be going to the next slide. That is the mandate. Can you see my slide? The mandate of Convention on the Conservation of Migratory Species. These are the key significantly public health that promote public health. The first one is conservation of migratory species and their habitat. This is the mandate of the first international convention. It conserves and protect their habitats. Healthy ecosystem reduce environmental degradation, thereby promoting public health. When they conserve and protect it, it now reduces environmental degradation. The second one is harmful to wildlife. It prohibits illegal hunting, trade, and disturbance. This activity linked to disease transmission, the control contribute to public health protection. The fourth one, promote international cooperation. It helps in early detection of transmission of transboundary disease, and coordinated response to health threats affecting both animals and humans. The fifth one, reduction of environmental pollution. It promotes measures to reduce pollution in migratory routes and habitats. This improves air, water, and food quality, very essential to human health. Support sustainable use of natural resources. Here it helps ensure safe food system, clean environment, and reduce health risk associated with ecosystem degradation. So I'll be moving to the next slide, which is the performance of the conservation, CMS. It prevents prevention of zoonotic disease. What we refer to zoonotic disease, these are diseases that transmit from animal to human. It helps reduce unhealthy human-wildlife interaction that often lead to outbreak of diseases such as Ebola, rabies, and the rest. Protection of endangered migratory species. Protecting these species such as birds, marine animals, and other plays major role in pest control, pollination, and disease regulation. It supports ecosystem health. The third one is habitat conservation and sustainable land use. This framework reduces water, air contamination, and support sanitation. The fourth one is promotion to promote international cooperation and information sharing. This improves early detection and response to potential public health threats that are linked to migratory wildlife. It has promoted scientific research, monitoring, and exchange of information on migratory species, leading to better understanding of migratory species or migratory routes and threats. The next slide. Mandate of the Endangered Species Act, which is the national law. The mandate is protection of endangered species. That is the first mandate. It prohibits and controls the hunting, capture, killing, or possession of endangered wild animals and plants listed under the Act, except lawful permission. That is, if you have a lawful permission to do so. Act helps to reduce the risk of disease transmission from animal to human, thereby protecting public health. The second one, regulation of trade and consumption of endangered species. It regulates and restricts the import, export, sale, purchase, and trafficking of endangered species. They reduce exposure to unsafe meat and wildlife products. The third one, implementation of international convention agreement. The Act gives legal effect in Nigeria to International Convention on Wildlife Conservation. It supports international public health standards. The next slide, that is the next slide. Yeah. Next slide is still on the mandate. We are coming down. License and permit system. The Act indirectly promote public awareness about the health risk associated with wildlife exploitation. It established a system for issuance of permits and license for activity involving endangered species. Enforcement and penalties. It provides penalties including fines and imprisonment for individuals and organizations that violate the provision of the Act. Conservation of biodiversity. The Act aims to preserve Nigerian biodiversity and maintain ecological balance, thereby promoting public health. Performance of the Endangered Species Act, Chapter 9, Nigerian Law 2004. The first one, reduction of zoonotic disease transmission. The Act helped to reduce human exposure to zoonotic disease such as Lassa fever, Ebola, monkeypox, and others, as we earlier mentioned. Regulation of bushmeat trade. The Act discouraged illegal wildlife exploitation involving endangered species. Environmental health protection. The Act protects endangered species, contribute to ecosystem stability, which is essential for clean air, water, and soil. Public awareness and health education. The Act has increased the awareness about the dangers of illegal wildlife trade and health risk associated with wildlife consumption. The Act also supports disease surveillance and control. This Act enforces and monitors wildlife population. The Act supports early detection of wildlife disease. We are going to the next one. This is the mandate of National Environmental Protection of Endangered Species in International Trade Regulation. 2011. The first one. Prevention of zoonotic disease. As we earlier mentioned, this regulation also regulates and protects. It controls and restricts the import, export, and trade of endangered species and their product. The regulation of wildlife products used for consumption and medicine. It helps to prevent the circulation of unsafe animal products used as bushmeat, traditional medicine, which could pose serious health risk to the public. Environmental health promotion. This promotes ecological balance and reduce disease. Control of illegal wildlife trade. The regulation mandates permit and enforcement mechanism that ensure health inspection. We are still coming down to number 5. Promotion of safe and sustainable livelihood. The regulation encourages safe economic activity, reducing occupational exposure to health risk associated with hunting, handling, and trafficking of wildlife. Compliance with international health and environmental standards. The regulation domesticates Nigerians' obligation under CITES, ensuring that wildlife trade align with international safety. We are going to performance of the National Environmental Protection of Endangered Species in International Trade Regulation. The first performance is reduction of zoonotic disease risk. As earlier mentioned, control of illegal wildlife trade, as earlier discussed, protection of ecosystem health. This plays a vital role in disease regulation too. Prevention of unsafe consumption of wildlife. That is, it enforces and restricts the endangered species by reducing harvesting and consumption of unsafe wildlife products. Public awareness and institutional coordination. Implementation of the regulation. Improve collaboration among environmental, custom, and enforcement agencies like NESRA and others. Increasing awareness of health dangers of illegal wildlife trade. This is my conclusion. The laws and regulation provide an important and institutional framework for biodiversity conservation. The public health promotion. Their mandates emphasize on protection of endangered and migratory species, regulation of international trade in wildlife, and prevention of practice that threaten ecosystem and human well-being. The performance of these instruments has recorded notable achievements, particularly in raising awareness, strengthening legal controls on wildlife exploitation, and aligning national efforts with international conservation standards. However, their effectiveness has been constrained by challenges such as inadequate funding, weak enforcement capacity, limited inter-agency coordination, low public awareness, and persistent illegal wildlife trade. I have a reference there where those documents are, where I draft my work. So the first one is there and the second one is there. Thank you so much for your audience. Thank you, Prof.
Okusa, I have a question for you.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, Okusa, what number were you? Somebody is complaining that he was number 9. What number were you that you are using his own law to present? What number were you, sir?
I was on number 27. If you check number 27, you will see the law there, please. You can
So
go
the
back to the
person that is
chat.
complaining, what number was he?
No, I don't actually know that I took somebody's number, so I don't know his number.
It's okay. Thank you.
But I was number 27. You can check number 27. My name is body written there. Actually, I didn't even choose the number. It was Idris that even said I should take the number. If you go through the chat, you will see how Idris allocated it to me. So I work on the number strictly. That I don't know.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Frida.
Good morning.
Yes, I selected number 6. So I'll be presenting, our question was evaluate the performance by selecting one each with respect to promotion of public health from international environment-related treaties and conventions, then environmental law status in Nigeria, then major environmental regulation in Nigeria. So for my international environment-related treaties and convention, my own is on Montreal Protocol. The Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer is an international environmental agreement designed to protect human health and the environment by phasing out ozone-depleting substances. It was adopted in 1987 and entered into enforcement in 1989. It involved the all UN member countries' universal ratification. It was created after scientists discovered that chemicals used in refrigeration, aerosols, and fire extinguishers were destroying the ozone layer. It has been highly successful, leading to ozone recovery and major health and environmental benefits worldwide. What resulted in the Montreal Protocol? We said discovery of the ozone layer depletion and Antarctic ozone hole, scientific evidence linking to CFCs and other chemicals to ozone destruction, increase in harmful ultraviolet radiation reaching the Earth, rising cases and risks of skin cancer and cataract, evidence of immune system suppression due to ultraviolet exposure, threats to public health, agriculture, and ecosystem, global recognition that the problem required international cooperation, advocacy by scientists and international bodies like UNEP and WHO. That was what resulted to this protocol. The objective was to protect. The objective of the Montreal Protocol it came to existence to protect the ozone layer by controlling, reducing, and eventually eliminating the production and consumption of substances that deplete the ozone layer. So the aim was to actually stop the chemicals that destroy the ozone layer so that animals, people, plants, ecosystem are protected from ultraviolet radiation. Now, the purpose for the existence is all part of it, as I said earlier, it's a repetition. So the performance of the Montreal Protocol with respect to promotion of public health: 1, significant reduction in ultraviolet exposure. By phasing out ozone-depleting substances, the Montreal Protocol allows the ozone layer to recover. The ozone layer absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. With less ultraviolet reaching the Earth's surface, people are less exposed to radiation that causes diseases. Also, the performance was to prevention of millions of skin cancer cases. Excess ultraviolet radiation damages skin cells and led to melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancers. The protocol's success in reducing ultraviolet exposure has prevented millions of skin cancer cases globally, reducing illness and death. 3, reduced incidence of cataract and eye diseases. Ultraviolet radiation can damage the eye lens, leading to cataract and visual impairment. By limiting ultraviolet exposure, the Montreal Protocol has helped protect eyesight, especially among outdoor workers and older adults. 4, protection of the human immune system. High levels of ultraviolet radiation suppress the immune system, making people sorry, please, I think it was network. Can you still see my screen?
No, you have to
No, we can't
reshare
see
it.
your screen. You have to reshare your screen.
Share it again, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, I said, can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can
Okay.
see it. We can
Yes,
see it.
we
Okay,
can
so
see.
we said improved occupational. Sorry, I can't really see the top. Let me. Sorry, please. Oh. Okay, so sorry, please. Improve occupational. I can't really see the top, but then before the protocol, many workers were exposed to toxic chemicals such as CFCs and halon in refrigerators, air conditioning, and firefighting. The phase out of these substances has reduced chemical exposure, leading to safer working environment, then safer refrigeration and cold chain system. The protocol encouraged the development of safer alternative refrigerants. This has helped vaccine storage, food preservation, and medicine safety, especially important for public health system in developing countries. 7, lower long-term health care costs by preventing diseases like skin cancer, cataract, immune-related diseases. The protocol has reduced the burden on health system and lowered long-term treatment and care costs. Protection of future generations' health. The ozone layer is expected to recover fully in incoming decades. This ensures that the future generations are protected from harmful ultraviolet radiation and its health effects. Then for the global recognition as a successful public health charity, the Montreal Protocol is widely regarded as one of the most successful international agreements because it achieved near universal compliance and delivered clear and measurable public health benefits worldwide. The penalties, that's when you don't adhere to the Montreal Protocol. Trade restriction. Parties cannot trade ozone depleting substances with countries that are not in compliance with the protocol. Non-compliant countries may be barred from international trade for controlled chemicals, creating economic pressure to comply. Then 2, reporting and monitoring requirements. Countries must report production, consumption, and trade of ODS annually. Failure to report accurately or submit data can trigger diplomatic or trade consequences. Then 3, I can't really see the top. Sorry. But let me go to 4. I can't really see the top, but if you can see it, please. I can't really see it from here. My screen is a bit cracked at the top. So 4, suspension of funding and assistance. Countries that fail to comply risk losing financial and technical support from the multilateral fund, which is crucial for developing countries. Then 5, diplomatic pressure. Non-compliance may attract international criticism or pressure at the UN level, incentivizing countries to follow the rules. So the Montreal Protocol emphasizes cooperation and support rather than punitive fines. Most penalties are indirect through trade restriction, loss of funding, and diplomatic pressure, which have proven highly effective in ensuring global compliance. That's for the international. That was this Montreal Protocol. That's the one I chose for the international global control. So conclusion, the Montreal Protocol has proven to be one of the most successful international environmental agreements with far-reaching benefits for public health worldwide. By controlling and phasing out ozone-depleting substances, the protocol has enabled the recovery of the ozone layer, reducing harmful ultraviolet radiation exposure. Globally, this has prevented millions of cases of skin cancer, cataracts, and immune system suppression, while also promoting safer workplaces, improved refrigeration and cold chain system, and climate co-benefits through the reduction of potent greenhouse gases. In Nigeria, the protocol has similar importance. It reduces ultraviolet-related health risks, supports safe vaccine storage and food preservation, and strengthens environmental and occupational health protection. Its implementation demonstrates the value of international cooperation in safeguarding both human health and the environment. The next one, okay, these are the recommendations. I wouldn't read through because of time, but I can share the slides with us so that we can go through. So the next one was major environmental regulation in Nigeria. My own I selected was number 6 also, which is National Environment Control of Alien and Invasive Species Regulation for 2013. The regulation were enacted in 2013 under the framework of NESRA. They are legally binding for all states and local governments in Nigeria. They regulate, prevent, and control the introduction and spread of alien and invasive species in Nigeria, protecting biodiversity, ecosystem, agriculture, and public health. The objectives was to prevent the introduction of invasive species into the country, control and manage existing invasive species population, protect native biodiversity and ecosystem from ecological disruption, reduce economic losses in agriculture, fisheries, and forestry caused by invasive species, safeguard public health by controlling species that can cause diseases or produce harmful toxins, promote research awareness and capacity building for invasive species management. The key regulations. 1 is to prohibit and control. That's to import, sale, or release of listed invasive species without authorization is prohibited. 2, risk assessment. Any new species intended for import or introduction must undergo environmental and health risk assessment. 3, management and eradication. Authorities may eradicate or control invasive species if they threaten ecosystem or human health. 3, registration and permitting. Entities importing or cultivating certain species must register and obtain permits. 5, public awareness and education. promotion of awareness campaign to prevent accidental introduction of invasive species. That's, for instance, people coming in with different species of animals or maybe fisheries. All these they have to undergo scrutiny from this environmental regulation to ensure to prevent anything that will actually come and affect the ecosystem in the country. Penalties. The regulations provide enforcement measures for non-compliance. One, fines, which is offenders can be fined for importing, releasing, or trading invasive species illegally. Two, seizure and destruction. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Please, can you guys hear me? Okay, thank
We are
you.
with you.
So seizure and destruction. Invasive species in violation can be confiscated and destroyed. Then imprisonment is another penalty. Severe offenses may attract custodial sentences depending on the type and risk of the species. Then business closure or suspension. Commercial entities violating the regulation may face temporary or permanent closure. Those are the penalties when they don't adhere to this regulation. So the performance with respect to public health. One, we have positive impact. By controlling species that are vectors for diseases, mosquitoes, rodents, or invasive plants causing allergies or poisoning, the regulation reduces human risks. The regulation also prevents prevention of invasive aquatic species, protects water quality, reducing risk of waterborne diseases, indirectly supports food security, which is crucial for nutrition and overall public health. What are the challenges? The enforcement can be limited in rural areas due to lack of awareness or monitoring capacity. Some invasive species are already well established, requiring long-term management. Then public education and stakeholder engagement needs to be strengthened to maximize health benefits.
Please mute. Samson, please mute.
Overall, the regulation provides a legal framework that links ecosystem protection to public health, but effectiveness depends on compliance, monitoring, and awareness. So the third one was on assessment. Number 6, I selected Environmental Impact Assessment Act in Nigeria. What led to its existence? Rapid industrialization, urbanization, and infrastructure development in Nigeria increased the risk of environmental degradation. Recognition that projects without proper assessment could harm ecosystem, biodiversity, and human health. The need to comply with international environmental standards, particularly the Rio Declaration in 1992 and obligations under the Convention on Biological Diversity. The desire to prevent adverse impact on public health for population deforestation, water contamination, and other environmental hazards. Parallel lack of a legal framework requiring mandatory environmental impact assessment before projects. So this EIA came into existence as a result of the activities that were carried out, I think, in the South, which resulted to land degradation and also killing aquatic animals. And so that was what resulted to the existence of environmental impact assessment in Nigeria. So when it came into existence, EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment Act, was enacted in 1992 in Nigeria. It was administered by the Federal Ministry of Environment in collaboration with state environmental agencies to ensure that all development projects in Nigeria are assessed for their potential environmental and public health impacts before implementation. So EIA is an assessment that has to be done before any project is being implemented. Objective is to identify environmental and health risks of proposed projects. 2, to promote sustainable development by integrating environmental consideration into project planning. 3, to protect public health by minimizing exposure to pollution, toxic substances, and other environmental hazards. 4, to encourage public participation and transparency in environmental decision-making. 5, to provide a legal basics for project approval or modification to mitigate negative impact. The key regulation, key regulations, mandatory EIA for certain projects such as industrial plants, oil and gas exploration, waste disposal sites, and large infrastructure require an environmental impact assessment before approval. Screening and scoping. It determines the potential significance of environmental and health impacts. Environmental impact statement. Developers must submit a detailed report on project effects, alternatives, and mitigation measures. These are all what the EIA entails. Then public consultation. It involves stakeholders, including local communities, must be consulted during the assessment process. The whole lot process that is being done before any project, as they said. Together. Hello. Can you still see my screen? Okay, can you still see my screen? Okay. Okay, so performance with respect to public health, the positive impact. It ensures projects minimize population of air, pollution of air, water, and soil, reducing health risks. 2, it protects communities from toxic exposures and environmental induced diseases. 3, supports food security by preventing degradation of agricultural lands and water sources. 4, it promotes healthier urban planning, reducing overcrowding and sanitation-related illness. What are the challenges? Quick enforcement in some regions limits effectiveness. 2, limited public awareness of EIA rights and procedures. 3, some projects bypass EIA due to political or economic pressures. Overall, the EIA Act provides a framework linking development and public health, but its success depends on enforcement, compliance, and public engagement. What are the penalties when you don't comply to EIA? Fines. Fines are imposed on project proponents, suspension or revocation of project approvals, legal action for environmental harm caused by non-assessed projects, then remediation orders requiring restoration of degraded land, water, or ecosystem. These are my references. World Health Organization, where I sourced my information from. World Health Organization, from United Nations Environment Program, World Meteorology Organization, United States Environmental Protection Agencies, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Thank you for listening. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes, we are with you.
Okay, I'm done with my presentation, sir.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Hello, good morning.
Can hear you.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for your presentation. Prof, please. Okay, thank you. I'm the Lender Steven. I will be speaking on a ballast water management convention. Please, I hope my slides, you can see my slides.
No, we can't see
Hello, can you
it.
see my slides,
We
please?
can't see it, sir.
Hello, can you hear my, can you see my,
Yes, we can see it now. Okay, it has gone up.
okay, you can't see my slides. Okay. All right. Let me quickly run by it again. I've gone back. Okay. Let me try and connect again. Let me try to connect again. Please, another person can continue now. Let me please restart
Good morning.
my system. Another
Hello.
person can. Yeah.
Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Yes. Okay. Can you see my slide? Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can see
Okay.
your slide. We can see it. We can see it.
Okay.
I am
Bamwan Buma John.
Guma.
Yes, sir. I choose number 14, the International Convention, then 14 on Nigerian law, and then 14 on the regulations. So here is my presentation. Environment, UNFCCC, Associated Gas Reinjection Act and Hazardous Chemicals Regulation 2019, presented by Bamwan Majon. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change mandate. 1. Stabilize greenhouse connections. prevents dangerous climate change impacts, promotes global cooperation on mitigation and adaptation. Then it protects human health indirectly through climate action. UNFCCC performance in public health promotion. One, raise global awareness of climate-related health risks. It encourages cleaner energy, reduce air pollution. It supports adoption to flood, drought, and then heat stress. Limitations, voluntary commitment, weak enforcement. Associated Gas Reinjection Act is their mandate to reduce gas flaring in Nigeria, require reinjection or utilization of associated gas. It minimizes air pollution and environmental degradation. It also protects health of oil producing communities. Those are their mandates. Then Associated Gas Reinjection Act performances. They have strong health and environmental intent. Persistent gas flaring due to weak enforcement. They have low penalties and exemptions for oil companies. They also continue respiratory and environmental health problems. Then hazardous chemicals and pesticide regulation 2019 mandate. They regulate importation, storage, use and disposal of chemicals. Also mandate prevent chemical contamination. Also protect workers and the public management, chemical regulations, performances, and then ongoing cases of then my conclusion. Environmental laws to public health protection. UNFCCC global framework with indirect health benefits. Nigerian laws direct health focus but weak enforcement. Strong implementation needed for improved health outcomes. Thank you for listening. Hello? Hello?
I'm with you.
Okay, sir.
Good morning. Can you see my slide, please?
We can't see your slide yet. We can't see in the screen yet.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we can see it.
See it. We can see it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I will speak Right, tip number 20. So I was speaking on ballast water management convention, water resource. Can you still see my slide?
No,
that's gone at my end. Water resource. The slides have gone up again.
Okay, let's continue. Hello? Hello.
Yes, Prof.
Hi.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir. Yes, Prof.
my
I can hear
internet
you.
just went off abruptly like that. Okay, so let's continue with the next person
Can
should.
you see my,
Hello?
yes, can you see my slide, sir?
No, I've not seen
No, we
it.
can't.
Yes. Hello, sir.
Have you
Yeah.
shared it?
Yes, sir, I have.
But I can't see your slide though. Other people are seeing it.
No, sir.
No, well, there's nothing. Nothing in the screen.
No, you have to share it. You see, go to
Excuse me,
open it.
sir. Excuse me, sir.
It's with my network. I'm using both my phone and my laptop. Let me reconnect again. Someone else is there, the person can present. Let me reconnect.
What you do is that you open that presentation, then go to share
If
screen.
someone is ready, you can present. Let me reconnect.
Okay. Next person, please. Next
Hello, sir.
person.
Please, I think you should explain how to share it. We should open the presentation and then go
Yeah.
to share screen and do what?
Now, when you open the presentation on your laptop, first of all, you minimize the minimize the zoom. Okay,
Hello,
yeah.
sir. Hello, Prof.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, sir.
This thing was presented now.
Yes, I'm ready for presentation.
Is it not what somebody presented a few minutes ago?
No, sir.
Okay,
That
present.
one, yes, this one is international treaty. What I have noticed that the international treaty number 25 is somebody said as the national law. Sorry, international treaty number 25 is almost the same as the national law number 9.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost the same. That's what brought that issue.
Okay, so go.
So, to speak on the International Convention relating to intervention on the high seas in cases of oil pollution casualty. This convention was adopted in Brussels, Belgium on November 28, 1969.
Okay.
The essence of this convention was to help states in quote here are countries that have oil. The mandate of the convention was to help this country who were conscious of the need to protect the interests of their people against the grave consequences of a maritime casualty, resulting in oil pollution of sea and coastline. We know in most cases when people move oil in the high sea, most especially the ones that are students, they didn't take care of the consequences of the spillage. We know also that most people living in the riverine area make use of the water. Their livelihood also from there. So in a situation whereby there is an oil spill, it will pollute the water and the source of livelihood of the people living in that maritime territory will be seriously affected. That was why the international community comes together and put up this convention to help the people living in a riverine area in coastal line from the dangers of oil pollution. The impact of this or the performance of this convention to public is that, like we have in the Niger Delta region, what happened in the region where the Shell company pollute the area as a result of the operation. The source of livelihood of the people in the area were highly affected. The water quality, the oil, the soil quality, they could not farm anymore, and the air quality are affected. Even most of the people living in the area have been suffering from effect of acid rain, where the zinc of the people living around would be rusted. With a short time, the roof begins to leak. This will be associated with oil pollution. So to prevent this from occurring, the state of this convention is the international convention that I party to the convention, they were used to take a measure as may be necessary to prevent or eliminate grave and imminent danger to their coastline or related interests from pollution or threat of pollution of the high sea.
Please, Miriam, mute, please, Miriam, mute your mic. And also
Following of
Samsung, mute
casualty or acts related to just casualty, which may reasonably be expected to result in harmful consequences. Like in Nigeria, in maritime industry, we have NIMASA. NIMASA is an agency that controls, apart from the Nigerian Navy, who also work water bodies. The NIMASA controls the movement of oil of the vessel, whatsoever vessel that's moving in the water is being managed and controlled by NIMASA. The very essence is to ensure that water body polluted by the oil. Now, the national law that I consider is the endangered
Mute
species.
your mic if you are not talking. Mute your mic if you are not talking. Mute your mic.
Cap E9, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. This particular act prohibits hunting or capture of or trade in the animal species specified in the first schedule of the act. In this act, the first schedule lists all the animals that have been believed to be threatened for extinction, such as the one in primate class. Example is all the colors of monkeys. There are different types of monkeys with their different colors. Rodents, with example being palm squirrel, carnivora, the animals that eat, example is being lion. All these animals, that schedule consists so many of the animals being listed that's being classified as species threatened with extinction. Sometimes we don't want this type of animal to come close to us, or we don't want, or we will be afraid that they will harm us. In that instances, individual might wish to kill them. So this particular act was designed to eliminate, to prohibit people killing these animals. And these animals, in most instances, is what makes our biodiversity still in existence. So the act only allowed individuals who may wish to trade on these animals to first obtain an export license or permit from Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Not just that, the Minister of Agriculture will need to issue permits, having been satisfied that this particular animal is not going to be is not only being hunted for the purpose of recreation. Like we heard yesterday, in most of these African countries, where we used to have elephants, like one experience in Kenya last year, as we travel to Kenya, the elephants will walk out from the forest, come to where humans are living. They will be playing with humans because they are familiar with them. But some of us who were guests in that place, we couldn't stand seeing elephants walking with humans. So some people were running away. So to avoid just killing an elephant for the purpose of making a recreation, this law was put in place that if for any reason someone chooses to make a trade, he has to receive appropriate permits and a license from the government in authority. I also work on the national environmental, the regulation that has to do with dam and reservoir, issued by National Environmental Standard and Region Enforcement Agency in 2014. We know all about dams and reservoir. The major objective of the regulation is to control the effect of dams and reservoir on the environment and human health. It also seeks to reduce or minimize environmental hazard and disasters such as dam break, sediment load, and dam water releases causing downstream and flooding, erosion as well. We can easily remember each time the government of Cameroon releases their dam, we always experience flooding in Nigeria, mostly from Kogi, Benue, down to Adamawa, Delta, Rivers, and part of Akwa Ibom, and other states like that. Just last year too, we had a case of flooding in Borno State, Maiduguri, where a lot of houses were being flooded as a result of dam being released. So this regulation seeks to ensure that in a situation whereby a dam is to be released, there has to be some checks put in place to ensure that it does not emanate or introduce environmental hazards in the environment, as this will have a major negative on human health. This particular regulation also seeks to protect, minimize, and negative impact of fresh water, wetland, and the water quality. Yes, if a dam is being released, that water will definitely affect the fresh water that we drink. For those that drink from the stream, it will no longer have a good quality of water because the water quality or the water from the dam is mostly being polluted. So this definitely have a negative impact on human health. If we consume water that is not approved standard or quality, it will impact negatively on our health. Not just on our health too, on the environment, because where those water is being channeled to will definitely cause environmental hazard. That was the regulation that I reviewed.
Once again, I believe you can see my slides now.
We can see it. I can see it.
We can see your slide.
Thank you. I will be presenting on ballast water management convention. I will also speak on the Water Resource Act of Nigeria, the National Environmental Dam and Reservoir Regulations, performance evaluations. That's in terms of our focus is on public health, and the penalties and summary. Let us go to the ballast water convention now. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, yes, I'm hearing
Your
you.
slide has gone.
I hear you, but your screen is gone. Your screen is not sharing again.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is wrong? What is wrong? Okay, no problem. Can you see it now, please?
No.
It's coming now. It's processing.
I'm not talking
Okay.
really, really.
I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Now, when we talk about the Ballast Water Management Convention, it's a convention that took place in 2004. It was an international maritime treaty that require signatory flag states to ensure that ships flagged by them comply with standards and procedures for the management and control of ships' ballast water and sediments. Before I go in, first let us quickly speak on what we call ballast water. I believe not everybody here is aware of that word. Ballast water is water taken into ships to maintain structural stability when cargo is offloaded. If you are unloading cargo, the water that is taken in to make sure that there is stability, that is what we call ballast water. Now, going further, the mandate of this ballast water management is prevention of harmful organisms. The convention aims to prevent the spread of harmful aquatic organisms between regions. They also wish to implement standards. That is, these standards are to make sure that ships that move cargo from one part of the world to another adhere to these standards. The convention on its own has had amendments over time and updates. The convention has undergone. Can you hear me, please?
No, just I can hear you, but your slide is gone. But go ahead, please.
Oh, okay, Prof. I should go ahead.
Or you want to share? You want to try to share so that you don't waste time.
Okay, sir. Okay, let me go on then. I don't. My network is really bad. Sorry about that.
That's what I noticed. That is what I was experiencing too. Just go ahead and present.
Okay, sir. Now, going ahead, the mandate of the ballast water prevention of harmful organisms, implementation of standards. They also have amendments and updates over time. The convention has undergone amendments, including new requirements for electronic record books and additional surveys for new construction projects. The goals, in summary, they are there to prevent, minimize, and eliminate transfer of pathogens and microbes, which are public health priorities. For example, we talk about stopping pathogens that give cholera. Evaluation of the performance of ballast water convention. For you to understand this very well, these performances are evaluated through compliance with the established standards and procedures. The ship must manage their ballast water to remove harmless aquatic organisms and pathogens before they discharge. Considering this, we talk of two standards. The D1 standard requires that ships to exchange ballast water in open seas, at least from kilometers away from coastal areas, while the second standard specifies the maximum amount of viable organisms allowed to be discharged. As of 2024, all ships are required to have an approved ballast water treatment system according to the D2 standard. Going further, we'll talk about the penalties and fines. For ballast water, it is determined by the flag state jurisdiction. It must be adequately considered, and any deterrent or non-compliance to be reported. If you take, for example, the United States of America, the fine for reporting this is about $5,500. For Cyprus, you have about 50,000 euros or a 4-year jail term. For Nigeria, the penalties for non-compliance with ballast water convention include warning. In Nigeria, they just warn you, or they detain your vessel, or at most they exclude your vessel from the Nigerian waters until you meet this compliance requirement. Next, we'll talk about Nigeria's Water Resource Act. The Water Resource Act was established to promote the optimum planning, development, and use of Nigerian water resources. It aims to ensure the sustainable management of both surface and groundwater resources across our nation. Nigeria Water Resource Act mandate. The mandate vests rights, that is, the Act vests the rights and control of all water resources to the federal government, including surface water and groundwater that affect more than one state. They are also in charge of licensing and regulation. They are also there to protect and manage, and of course, penalties for violations, which include compliance with the standards mentioned in D1 and D2. And the agency in charge of this is the Maritime Agency. The Maritime Agency handles this. Those you have optimal planning, development, use of water resources. The public health focus. Since in this, when you consider this ballast water, if, for example, a ship moves from one country to another, and that very country is going through an epidemic, due to the intake of water to maintain structural strength for a ship, by the time we want to offload in another port, another country now, and that water needs to be discharged, if these things are not taken into consideration, these pathogens and vectors can quickly be transferred from one place to another. So this helps to mention quality control. The legal framework also gives licenses for water abstraction. I don't know if everybody understands what I mean by water abstraction, but I will quickly clarify that. Water abstraction is the extraction of water from a natural source, such as rivers and lakes. The reasons why we do this are for agriculture, irrigation, energy production, that is cooling of our power plants, for our industries as well. We consider manufacturing and cleaning industries. The performance evaluation. The performance evaluation of the Nigerian Water Resource Act has been a subject of significant interest and analysis. The Act aims to ensure the protection, use, development, conversion, and control of the nation's water resources. It recognizes water as an economic and social good. The Act also implements national policies for gender equality, as well as upstream and downstream interests. Now, if we really look at these evaluations, you will see that the fines, if we consider the fines and other things, you will see that it's quite funny. You will see that it's not really helpful in our today, what we see today. The fines are really, really outdated. If you consider, for example, before 2024, we were looking at fines not exceeding 2,000 naira. So, these are fines that anybody can pay. So somebody can just feel like I can do what I want, but I'll pay 2,000. And then additional fine per day. That is if you continue to do wrong. An additional fine of 100 naira per day. It's not something that is good at all. Going further, we will talk on national environmental regulations. We're looking at dams and reservoirs as well. National environmental regulations for dams and reservoirs are designed to balance economic benefits like irrigation and power. The National Environmental Dams and Reservoir Regulation 2014 served as the primary framework for this protection. The enforcement authority for this is the NESRA in Nigeria. Their core goal is to control the effect of dams and reservoirs on the environment and human health. Their mandate now. For this to go on, you know that you need to, the amendment emphasize the importance of public involvement throughout the EIA process, incorporating the perspectives of local communities. That is, as of before, we spoke about EIA, which was our environmental impact assessment. But as of today, when you're considering EIA, you don't just consider the environmental aspect alone now. We have the environmental and social impact assessment. The social part of that environment where some of these projects are to be carried out, we also need to consider them. And then one of the mandates again is the amendment introduced stronger enforcement measures to ensure compliance with environmental standards and regulations, improve the environmental governance. The amendment enhanced Nigeria's credibility, facilitating access to foreign investment and support for infrastructural projects. Since we are referring to public health here, and we all know that we say water is life, let us quickly talk about water quality, sanitation, and protection. Just briefly. When in areas where you have dams, it is mandatory that there are sanitation buffers. Now, these buffers are erected to make sure that sewage and dumping of waste materials into the reservoir does not happen. You make sure these buffers are erected at least 500 meters away from such reservoirs. These reservoirs, these buffer structures go further to restrict hazardous chemicals and require monitoring of toxic substances to meet drinking water standards. The goal? Prevent outbreaks of waterborne diseases like cholera and typhoid.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, can I hear?
I think network is disturbing. I think network is disturbing.
Start considering if who is the real person to do this. It leaves gaps that we cannot quickly handle. We'll talk about the penalties and fines, just like we said earlier. On a general note, violations of NESRA attract higher penalties than the Water Act. Now, if you check, for example, let's consider Lagos now. The fine of discharging hazardous waste in Lagos State is 500,000 naira. If you look at other states, I couldn't get that of Benue State. But in other states, of course, you have minor stream pollution fine in some states, not much. Then, of course, you have a 500 naira penalty for lack of uniformity. So you see, they are not really encouraging at all. If we really need to look at the comparative analysis of what we discussed here, both the ballast water, the water act, the environmental regulations, put all of them together. Looking at the born water, you see that they have high international standards, strong deterrence globally. In considering the ballast water, you see it is effective at source. That is at source, that is at the ship level. They have made sure that those who own ships adhere to this. But when you come down to the port, at the ports now, really the enforcement is really, really bad. If you look at the environmental regulations, the laws are fundamental, yes, they are there, but the enforcement again are really weak. The Water Act, if you look at the penalties, they are not encouraging at all. They are non-deterrent, so people can still go further to do what they want to do. Now, if you choose to address these gaps and the recommendations I would have, considering all three that we've gone through. One, review and update Nigeria's environmental penalties immediately. Looking at our ports, a case study of Apapa on airport, we need to invest in the own waste management reception facilities. That port is really not helping. Now, there should be interagency cooperation. When you talk about our water and our environment, corporations that need to come together to work as one to make sure this happens. We have NIMASA, Federal Ministry of Environment, the Water Ministry, of which NESRA as well. There should be an interagency cooperation, not this one coming to say, I am the one. There's no competition. At the end of it, what we want is for sustainable development and good health for everybody. And of course, there should be public awareness campaigns on water source protection.
But try and round up. Somebody else will have to come up. Hello? Hello?
On robust enforcement and deterrence. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so next person.
The London Convention on Prevention of Maritime Pollution.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, we are here.
Yes. I'm presenting now, sir.
Okay. Please, you have 5 minutes.
Simeon, and I'm presenting on the. Okay, sir. I'm presenting on the African Charter on the National Law, Oil Pipelines Act, and then the National Environmental Regulation.
Okay.
So I start with African Charter on Human and People's Rights.
Yes, go ahead.
These are 81 called Banjul.
Miriam.
Good morning to you all.
Miriam, are you the one?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
London Convention on the Prevention of Maritime Pollution by Dumping of Waste and Other Matter, 1972. The Convention on Prevention of Maritime Pollution by Dumping of Waste Matters and Other in 1972 was adopted to control the discharge of waste in the maritime.
Excuse me, Maria, did you attempt to hear at all, or you're just reading something?
I did attend.
Hello?
I've been attending the classes.
No, I mean to share what you have, to share your presentation. You didn't prepare it, or you're just reading from somewhere?
Actually, I'm reading from somewhere. No
You're
screen to
supposed to.
share yet.
Why is there no screen?
Sir, I have surgery. I'm just recovering, sir.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop you from from presenting now. See, the energy you have to present is the same you do in preparing your screen now.
So let me try.
No, because see, it's part of learning. Do you
Yes,
understand?
it is.
It is to send and you have challenge, and they put you through. Then you have learned something. That is part of the stuff.
Noted. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Can I be
Try to share. If you pass it, then you.
all right? Let me try.
And let's hold on for please.
Okay, so I was tripped out because of network, and I'm back. So,
okay, go.
Just as I was saying, I am presenting an African Charter on Human and People's Rights, and I say it was adopted in 1981 in Gambia, a city called Banjul. And the African region, in the past, they were denied of so many human rights. So the region now had an instrument that will guide Africans on their rights as humans. So this particular law protects. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so it protects civil, political, economic, and social and cultural rights. The mandate of the African Charter is to protect and promote human and people's rights, recognize right to health, guarantee right to satisfactory environment, promote development and human dignity, and monitor compliance through the African Commission. Now, relevance to public health. You will see that the law recognizes health as a fundamental human right. It also links environment protection to human health. And it requires states to provide basic healthcare services. So if you look at the performance in promoting public health, you will see that there are some certain strengths from this law. The first one is the legal recognition of the right to health. It is expected that every human being is supposed to have equal rights to live healthy. The second one is support environmental and public health protection. You see that. Hello? Are we together? Hello?
Can hear you, sir.
Can you hear me?
We are together.
Okay. So it supports environmental and public health protection. So it also influences decision. And then the last one, it is domesticated and enforceable in some of the countries. There are some countries in Africa that take it seriously and they are actually practicing this particular law. Though some countries like Nigeria we are not part of it, because you see that most people in our societies are denied of so many of these rights that are called human rights, even to the point that our government is not even, or state government, they are not even ready to make available health facilities on most of the locals. The weaknesses, you will see that the mechanism for enforcement is so weak. There's also poor implementation by member states. And most of the people, they are not human rights. And another thing is funds serve as major constraints for implementation. So in conclusion on the charter, you see that charter provides strong framework for public health rights. So in fact, limited by weak enforcement and compliance. You know that because people are not able to comply to most of these laws, it has not been effective. So the last one is effective promotion depends on the state commitment. Any state that decides to follow it, you see that it will be effective. Now I'll go to the second one, which is the national law, and is Oil Pipeline Act, OPA. It's also referred to as CAP 07. It's a law of the Federation of Nigeria, and it was first enacted in 1956 and then later enforced in 2004. So the law governs transportation of crude oil and petroleum products. The basic principle is just to regulate oil pipeline construction, operation, and maintenance in Nigeria. And it is administered by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. The key mandate of the Act is to grant and regulate oil pipeline policies, to approve pipeline routes and specifications, to ensure safe construction and maintenance of pipelines, to provide compensation for landowners that are affected by the activities of production, and then also to prevent pipeline-related hazards and damage. The public health relevance. It prevents oil spill and leakages, protects water sources, air quality and farmlands, reduce exposure to toxic substances. It minimizes risk of explosion and fires. Then, performance promoting public health. The strength of this law is it establishes a legal framework for pipeline safety, requires inspection and maintenance of pipeline to avoid pollution that may occur as a result of the leakages in the pipes. It also recognizes community impact through compensation. Those people that the damages are caused to them, there is provision here that they should be compensated. Now, the weaknesses is the enforcement and monitoring is very poor, because you can see that most of the oil pipelines are not being monitored. They stay for a long time and they leak, thereby causing pollution. Aging pipelines cause frequent spill. You will see that public health not expressly. Hello. Are we there? Can you hear me?
Yes, but you have to try and you should last one.
Okay. So you see that there is also inadequate and delay in compensation in most cases. So limited community participation. These are some of the weaknesses. Now I go to the last one, which is the National Environment Regulations 2009. The mandate, the people that are to handle this is the Natural Act, which is in 27, is aimed to protect the environment, promote public health, and is enforced by Israel, just as I've said. The mandate is to regulate or control air, water, and land pollution, regulate waste management and sanitation, protect public from hazardous substances, set environmental standards for industries, and also enforce compliance through inspection and penalties. The relevance of this law to public health, it prevents waterborne and sanitation-related diseases. It also reduces air pollution and respiratory illness. It also promotes hygienic living and safe environment. So one of the strengths of this particular law is it provides legal framework for environmental health. It also empowers Nigeria to enforce standards. Limited funding, poor compliance by industries and local authorities, overlapping regulatory laws, persistent poor sanitation in many areas. Now I go to summary of this. Public health is closely linked to environmental protection law. The African Charter recognizes the right to a healthy environment. The Oil Pipeline Act aims to control environmental risk for oil activities. Then the National Environmental Regulation sets standards to reduce pollution and protect the environment. Now, environmental laws are essential tools for promoting public health. The selected instruments have clear mandates, but faces enforcement challenges. Weak compliance limits their overall effectiveness. So strong enforcement and coordination are needed to improve these public health outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, Miriam, this thing you shared will not allow you to present. See, this is plagiarism. You're not supposed to go and carry a material and come and put it as if it is your own. You are supposed to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. You can lift material from there into your PowerPoint. You cannot come and go and just download a flyer and come and say you want to present. No. Please, another person, please. This one is not allowed. Are you saying you will submit this thing to me as Simon, Miriam?
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
I was going to work on it before submitting.
Okay, so
I
take it
just
down.
jotted some things from this.
No, we will not take this. Take
All right.
it away, please. You are not supposed to do something like this. This is plagiarism. They can catch you for theft too. I will not. What we are teaching you is best practice. This is not what you're supposed to do. Don't go and carry somebody's material and want to present. You don't do that.
Thank you, sir.
Please, another person, please. Is she the last person to present? Hello?
No. No, sir. Good morning, sir.
So try to use the remaining minutes to present, please. The last person.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Sir, I also have a challenge. My
Okay,
system
so
is faulty.
the person will touch. I want to see what you are presenting because the kind of thing that Miriam has showed, and I think that you see, you're not supposed to go and leave, just take somebody's text and start reading. It is very wrong, though. It's only religious books that are read like that. Literally, scientific books are not they are not copied the way you are doing. Though. It's plagiarism. It's plagiarism. It's something you did not prepare. You are coming to read it as if you are the one that no. Kai, it's not allowed. Who has his own? Who has done something?
I'm ready, sir, to present, sir.
Okay.
I want to share.
Let's see.
Okay, sir.
I'm looking at the phone. I've been part of the things. Not right. So I can imagine the problem of the fact, the document. I'm trying to explain it because I was trying to explain it to that's what I'm just looking at. Yeah, so
Oh, it's showing me.
because some of those measures in the action.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we'll have to close it here.
I still want to present. I'm trying to share the screen.
Where
Excuse me.
You're telling me
Prof.
that I should show it in.
Hello,
I should
Prof.
export it as PDF. I'm ready now. It's already export as PDF. Good morning, everybody.
Hello, Prof.
Please, can you see the screen? Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Please, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Should I proceed then? Hello, should I proceed?
Me, I can see you.
Okay, I would like to talk. I'll be presenting on the assignment given to us about the international agreement, the convention, and the national law regulation. That we should discuss the mandate and evaluate the performance each which respect for promotion of public health. My name is Utman Idris. I'll be talking on the international. I'll be talking on conventional of the territorial sea and contiguous zone, 1958, and the national on Nigeria. I'll be talking on the Exclusive Economic Zone Act, 1978, now cap, and the regulation, the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, established Act 2007, Section 22. Firstly, on the Convention of the Territory Sea and the Contiguous Zone. The Convention of the Territory Sea and Contiguous Zone of 1958 is an international treaty which entered into force on 10 September. It's one of the four agreed upon at the first European Conference of the Law of the Sea. Conventional of the IC was done at Geneva on 29 April 1958. The state parties The state parties of the convention desire to codify the rules of international law related to the IC, recognize that the National Conference of the Law and the Sea held in Geneva from 24 February. The public health aspect is to focus on maritime jurisdiction and security and navigation, limited direction public health impact, while the performance is to establish framework for coastal state rights and responsibilities and influence subsidence on the threat 1982. The second on the Exclusive Economic Zone Act 1978 Nigeria. The Exclusive Economic Zone Act of 1978 in Nigeria officially established a 200 nautical mile maritime zone seaward from the coast, granting Nigeria sovereign right over natural resource exploration and exploitation, conservation and management of the seabed, subsoil and superjacent water. It regulates artificial structure, marine research, and environmental protection. And what is the Exclusive Economic Act in Nigeria? This is an act to delimit the exclusive economic zone of Nigeria being the area of interpretation of 200 natural nautical miles seawater from the coast of Nigeria. The public health aspect is to address pollution, environmental protection in the EEX. The performance is to establish 200 ENS exerting Nigeria right and the provision for preventing pollution. While the third one is the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Establishment Act 2007, Section 22. Section 22 of the Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Act define the core functions and power of the agency, which include maritime safety regulation, security search and rescue, ship registration, maritime labor administration, and prevention of marine pollution. It established NIMESA as the primary authority to implementing maritime convention and cabotage enforcement. The key function and duty mandate under Section 22 include the maritime safety and security, providing search and rescue service, conducting inquiries into casualties, shipwreck, and managing vessel security and compliance. The administration and regulation, the registered and licensed ship, regulating ship, construction and managing and certification welfare of seawork, and environmental protection, controlling and preventing marine pollution. The cabotage enforcement, serving as the enforcement agency for the Coastal and Inland Shipment Act 2003. Training standard, establish and enforcing maritime training and safety standard. The public health aspect is addressing vessel sources pollution safety, while the performance is to establish NIMESA to enforce regulations and addresses maritime pollution risk. The evaluation and recommendation. The public health aspect is to limited direct impact, more focus on maritime law and environment, while the strengthening is to pollution prevention, emergency response for public health protection, while the opportunity is to enhance collaboration with health agencies on maritime risk. Thank you for listening. I'm done with the presentation, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. I'm done with the presentation, sir.
It's like Prof is not here with us, and I'm expecting the course rep to take over from here. I don't know. Augustia.
I'm sending me the love letter. Yeah, okay. You know what we'll do?
Hello, course rep.
Hello, sir. Hello, Prof.
It's like Prof is not on this platform again.
Hello, Prof, sir.
Oh, yeah. See that?
Coach, please, what's the way forward? Should we all end the class or wait for the lecture or what? The lecturer.
So he has gone. It's possibly his network. So time is gone. He's not on call again. So let me reach out to him and get back to you.
All right.
Hello, class rep. Class rep. Hello, class rep. Hello, class rep. Hello, class rep. Can you hear me? Hello, class rep. Can you hear me? Class rep, can you hear me?
Hello?
Class rep, can you hear me? Some of us have not presented. How are we going to do? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, class rep.
Hello?
Class rep, can you hear us?
I think the coach rep has spoken. He said he's reaching out to Prof. Please, can we be a bit patient? He asked us to wait so that he will reach out to Prof and get back to us. So I think he's already on that call. So let's be patient. We also have a class later in the day by I think by 1, right? We have
Hello,
a class
class.
by 1.
Hello? 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 I was talking to Prof. I was talking to Prof. Can you people hear me?
Yes, we are hearing, sir.
Yes, we can hear you.
I was talking to Prof. So he said we should end the class. People who have presented, they should send, people should send their slides that are well prepared to his WhatsApp.
So we that we are present, we have to send our slide to the WhatsApp.
Yes, send it to him. I sent the number on the WhatsApp group that day.
Please, can you resend it, please?
Go there and check it. I can't resend it. Go and check it there.
There is a lot of message.
What of the ones that have not presented?
You can send it. All of you should send it.
Okay.
Send it to WhatsApp.
Okay. The number.
But do you agree to resend the number?
No, I will forward the number. I will forward the number. I have submitted my own, and he said received. So I will forward the same number to you people.
All right,
Even
thank
me,
you.
I have submitted mine. He said received.
But the number is not.
But I have not presented.
Prof said received. So I will send the same number and communicate with him on the platform.
Okay.
So that others can use it.
All right.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Class rep.
You are not going to spend money. Masters, is it not tuition free this thing? They are going to handle everything about your thesis. The student is supposed to give you some money, sir. Hey, World Bank project now. World Bank project. Now, how can what are the project? When World Bank is sponsoring everything. It's all for me. I'm working for that. But for what is celebrating, you know? No. Someone to answer call. The only thing is, young boy, I'm not watching. What can you say? Say that there are about 3 universities. There is one in the south. Nah, young boy, one there. Most of the folks giving it the agency was 18,000. But you put it where you attach you. No, but the challenge is 40,000. Universities, right? That's it. Sorry. They're not it's because he didn't apply until the right university now. He didn't know. And there's no way you can do about going back to the other Next time they are going to give you, it's only PGD guy. I think when they are to do that, they will even limit the scope of the cases.
Close your.
Yes, now.
Okay, by the left.
Do you know that this particular program, since that 2019, we supposed to limit the sex rate outside university. So she having enough equipment about what you're doing in the university.
We keep them. We will go to search. I will let you small ground where things all this is. So now it was like look at is like
But the problem here is problem therefore, how you are not person. Can you call the Can you call the remote people?
Get her number.
Level plus challenges. What's your cousin over?
What's your top 5 years for
It's their first time. And I'm not sure what time now. Program is going to finish in 2027. This is 2027 or 2029. 2029. I will renew your for PhD. No, MSc, I will go for it by the grace of God. I will get PhD in 9 months. We'll be in your So next year, when your masters, I don't want to say that. Then you better move 1 year. I don't want to watch my calendar. That's the prayers.
Well, gadget.
Gadget, it's not about that now. I'm very busy. That's the problem. I'm too busy. Again, the 2 weeks running there, I'm able to.
For people from the guy I didn't say yesterday, wanted me to write that yesterday. I said, I just looked at it. One later yesterday, I was supposed to be at the end. Then you should write it. Easy. I see that 2 people came to my office. Madam, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
A long time. Have we come around here this year?
Yes. Actually, no, I did.
Okay. When was that?
That was a few weeks ago, January. Have you?
I came back January 5th. We are resumed January 5th. That's why I was wondering. I said, take me there.